Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome everybody to episode 222 of the Michael Lab Show with me, your host. Happy September 1st. I believe it's September 1st. I'm recording this on August 30th. I think there's okay. Happy August 31st. We're coming down to the end of August. We're slipping our way into the future, and this future is going to be fall. And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's been a hell of a summer. It's been a hell of a year. Moving on to year and a half now. It's been a wild ride. We are taking it day by day. Kids are going back to school. I'm going back to school. This is actually my first week of school. The day I'm recording this, it is currently 8:30 in the morning. I just completed my workout. Stop talking. Okay, just gonna keep talking. But yeah, so I've been doing cardio again. But ever since I was sick, it's much more of a placebo thing. I'm not actually struggling to run again. I'm just choosing not to. It's kind of weird. Ever since I did get that sickness, I've just been kind of walking, and I like it. It's nice. Like today, I did 40 minutes just walking on the treadmill. I think I did like 2.10 miles. Nothing crazy, just kind of relaxing, getting my body back into cardio shape. Just trying to get cardio up again. There's like a local running event that's coming around soon. I think it's just like a 5K walk or a 1 mile run or a 5K run or a 1 mile walk, and it's for heroes, so it's for first responders and mainly first responders. So I'm thinking about maybe not training for that because I can go out and do that right now. 1 mile run is super easy, but I do want to eventually start running again. As we move from the summer into the fall, I think I like this time of the year to run more than I do the summer. The summer is just so hot. It's so hot, and that's just an excuse. But it is like it's hard. It's not easy to run at that time of the year. And then the closer you move in the fall, and like for me especially, like the fall it seems like a much more fall, winter, and early spring seems like the time of the year where I get the most growth out of my life. And it could have a lot to do with school. Like school's around that time. So because I'm in school, I always feel like I'm doing something, even though I may not be doing something. But because you're in school, you have assignments. The assignments you get grades on, and if you work hard on the assignments, you get better grades. So it's a very cause and effect relationship. And so I feel like you feel like you're doing a lot more than you actually are. So that might have a lot to do with it. But I also like this time of the year. Just feel like you just kind of get down, you work hard. There's nothing really to look forward to. Like, I mean, there's Christmas and whatnot, but like you look forward to summer. And then once summer is behind you, you don't really have time to start looking forward to next summer. But I just feel like this is where most growth happens. Most moves are made by people physically moving houses, but also like business moves and financial moves and relationship moves and just personal care moves. I feel like this is the time of year where a lot of people start that race and either get ahead of everybody else or they fade back. So I really do like this time of the year a lot. But I am starting school, and it's fun. It's fine, I guess. I don't know. I have 3 classes. I think they're like, I have a design thinking lab class. I don't know what that means. I have a marketing class, I believe, and then I also have a entrepreneurship class. I've kind of looked at the syllabus for one of the 3 courses already. They look fun. They look easy. My goal this semester is to just kind of get all A's. I have 3 courses. I haven't never had 3 courses in college. I've always had 4 or 5. So I'm kind of excited in that sense that it's not going to be nearly as stressful. I'm also excited to be back in person again. I think that is fun. That's going to be nice. With that, there is negatives. You got to drive an hour now to go to school, an hour on the way back. This is 2 hours of driving, 4 days a week. That's 8 hours. That's like that over 16, 32 hours times 4, 6, 4, 8, 12 to 128 hours. 128 hours divided by 24. This is a rough estimate. That's about 5.3 days of my next 4 months is going to be wasted driving, and it's probably going to be a little bit more than that, or a little bit less than that. But that comes with being a traveling student, not somebody or a commuter, a commuting student. But there's no way I could live on campus or near campus right now. I've been in school way too long. Like, I'm going to be graduating at 25, where I think the average kid graduates at 21. So like I'm 4 years behind. I'm a fourth year senior. But that, that's fine. I'm not concerned about that. I am kind of worried, like with the whole, with COVID going on, and COVID's not going away either. Like I think at the beginning of the pandemic, and then when we get the vaccines, I was under this mindset that, COVID's going to be gone. And the more and more I listen, whether it be, Dr. Gottlieb on CNBC Squawk Box, whether it be Dr. Ronna Patrick with Rogan, whether it be like Fauci or like Lex Friedman or anybody who is in the medical world whatsoever, the more I listen to these people, I've just kind of become numb to the fact that we are going to be, COVID's going to be here forever. And, it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it is what it is. It's a virus. It's going to mutate. Each year there's going to be a vaccine, a shot that you take to hopefully defend yourself from the said strain. We've gone through Alpha, which was the OG COVID. Now we have Delta, and I think it's going to just keep on going. We're going to have Charlie. We're going to have Foxhole. We're going to have Erica. We're going to have all these different COVID vaccines. These COVID strains. And, I think it is what it is. At this point, the one thing I do think we really need to start focusing on is I think there has to be a real conversation with America and the rest of the world. And there has to be some type of penalty set down on China. Like, it just doesn't seem, it blows my mind that China has just been skating through this the entire time. It's kind of mind-blowing. I'm not screaming conspiracy theories here. But, there's a few things that we know. We know COVID was in China before December, and we know that they downplayed it. And by downplaying it and by making it seem like it's not nearly as big as a deal as it is, we've really maybe we could have got at it harder and more aggressive and slow the spread down of it. Maybe not. Maybe not. But if there was any colluding and there was any negligence, like it has to be looked upon. Like there has to be some type of penalty. And I fear that there won't be. I don't think there will be ever. I think it's kind of going to go away. I think people are going to stop talking about it because China wields so much power. Like, not just power like in the sense of like size, but in the sense of like economy, in the sense of technology, in the sense of world power connections. Like they bordered Russia. Like, if you don't think Russia and China are like friends, like if you don't think Russia, China, Iran, and Afghanistan are like buddies, like you have a different story. Like you're viewing the world from such a naive place. At the same time, I know America can, we whatever China's doing to us, we do to them. And I would say that we do to them even twice as hard. But just the fact that COVID has, we've taken care of it, right? We're working hard on it. We have these amazing vaccines that work. These vaccines work. Initially, I think we were under the impression that they stopped the spread of COVID, but that's not true. Like it seems like they don't stop the spread of COVID, but that's fine. What they do is they protect people from dying, and like that's the important part. Like I think, and I want to get off this topic eventually, but it is, I say that, but also it is kind of in the news. So it's like, do you just not talk about like the fat lady in the room? Is that offensive? Is that something that people say? Like, if you see a huge fat lady in the room, like you look, right? Or if you see, right? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm fat phobic. Maybe I'm garbage. Dude, I was watching, yeah, actually, no, this isn't mean at all, because they do it. They make money off of it, and they promote this extreme obesity of these monstrous humans. Like, there's like an anti-obesity movement. Like, don't call people obese. Like, don't fat shame. Like, fat is beautiful. It's like, okay, it's fine. We can do fat is beautiful. I can get on board with that, right? Yeah, fat people are fine. They're good. They're fine. Like, there's nothing against fat people, right? I'm a fat people. Like, I'm fat. If I take my shirt off, I'm overweight. Like, you can tell. And like, if I didn't consciously try to stay at a certain weight, I would be on my 600-pound life. But like, there's a show, My 600-Pound Life, and it's so sad. It's a sad show. Like, just because you laughed, I mean, when you laugh, like, it's funny, But it's, like, for someone like me, like, I laugh at things that are completely messed up, like completely messed up. Like, I don't even say, because it might actually happen, and I can't say it on a podcast because it'll haunt me for life. Anyways, it's about COVID kind of. But that's how I deal with things. Like, if someone's trauma, if it's like extreme, I laugh. Like, what do you call laugh bonding or something like that? It's the way I process things. Some people will cry, some people will scream. I laugh. Like, and I think a lot of my comedy comes, like, a lot of things I find funny, it's placed and it's held in irony, right? If something is extremely ironic, I laugh very hard. If something is very traumatic, I laugh very hard. And if something is so absurd, crazy, and should not exist, it's not that it shouldn't exist, but what is happening shouldn't be a characteristic of whatever it is. So, like, the absurdity of things, I laugh. So I'm sitting with my girlfriend, and we're watching TV, and I stop at My 600-Pound Life because a crazy show. It's a fun show to watch. The best part about the show is the doctor, the guy who he does all, like, the have a nice little Nixie. Ooh, hang on, it's very southern. Can't be saying that. Nixie sounds very southernish. It sounds like it's from, like, the Jim Crow era. I don't know. Oh, that's good though. Damn. Pomegranate green tea, 15 milligrams of caffeine. I had this drink yesterday that was, I swear to this, as I'm sitting here, if I had the can in front of me, I would still be looking for the alcohol content. I'm not much of a drinker. I'm much more, I will drink. Like, if people are drinking around me, I will drink. I'll have a drink, but I'm not like, I don't go out of my way to have a drink. Like, if there's a drink in the fridge next to me, I still won't go out of my way to grab it. But if someone goes in there to grab a drink and they're drinking in front of me, then I'll go ahead and grab the drink. But I won't consciously, like, make a decision, let's go grab a drink. Now, here's what I say with that. I have nothing against drinking. Here's another thing I say against that. When the time comes, and it will come eventually. When the time comes, I will get into psychedelic drugs, right? Eventually. I don't know when. I don't know how. Well, I know how, but I don't know when. Because there's so much. I'm hyper interested in that world of psychedelics. Not just because of the high. Like if I just wanted that, I could do it now. But it's not that. It's the, oh God. It's gonna be. Here we go. We're not gonna actually want to talk about what I wanted to talk about, which is fine. It's a good drink, though. Pomegranate green tea. I've been I'm almost a full-blown hippie at this point. Like, I am. I'm very, like, for, like, my Christmas gift this year, or my birthday gift from my girlfriend, I already know what it is. She's got me Birkenstocks, and I'm so pumped to rock those. Like that. And I got a mushroom hat, and I got a mushroom shirt, and I love listening to. Paul Stamets has a few books. Most of his books are like mushroom hunting books. I haven't really got into them. I've listened to him on Rogan. I watched his Fantastic Fungi, it's probably my favorite documentary of all time. Like, and I'm not being hyperbolic here. Like, it really is one of my favorite documentaries that's ever existed. It's an absolutely astonishing piece. It talks everything about just the culture and how it intertwines with psychedelics and mushrooms and fungi, and it talks about he talks about Terence McKenna and Terence McKenna's theories of evolution, and like how do we develop language, and like how do we develop these cultures of just like how do we go from like an orgy society into a dominator society? What was introduced halfway during that time period? Why is it that some cultures, the Western world is much more materialistic driven, whereas some cultures, more in the Eastern world are not? What does this path look like if we continue down this road? That's more Terence McKenna, but Paul Stamets in Fantastic Fungi, he just makes a case for fungi. He makes a case for mushrooms, like just the power of them, and like there's such a hatred towards fungi, and I think a lot of it has to do with Richard Nixon, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of things, but a lot of it has to do with the idea of once we disassociate ourselves from bargaining to increase your wealth, right? Like if I was a goat farmer and you were a vegetable vegetable person, agriculture person, I don't know. Or let's say you raise chickens and I raise goats, right? And we lived 5 miles apart, right? I would raise my goats, I would kill my goats. You would raise your chickens, you would kill your chickens, and we would trade. That's how we would trade. We didn't have a value on those. The value that I saw in a chicken, like 10 chickens, I valued this in one goat. I would give you one goat when we agreed upon that, right? I give you a goat, you give me 10 chickens, boom. Okay, so that was the world that we used to live in. And then this world was introduced where we started using, now we have a middleman, right? We have a item that can be placed in the middle that is given a value, and the value is not given per se, like, here you go. It's like, hey, you have 10 chickens, right? And you have one goat. That goat's $10, right? Right? Because if you're giving me 10 chickens and I'm giving you one goat, that means to every one of your chickens, it's 1/10 of my goat. So that makes the chicken worth $1, and that makes the goat worth $10. So if I gave you 10 goats, you would give me 100 chickens. So we developed this process where we started subscribing value amounts to objects. And the moment we did that, there was a creation in this country, not in this country, but in this world, where the more you had of that middle thing, you didn't need the goats, you didn't need the chickens, you didn't need the soil or the soybeans, you didn't need anything. All you needed was that value to exchange items. And it started creating a distribution and a power dynamic that has never been seen before in humanity, because now there could be a person who produces nothing, right? They produce nothing for the world. They don't produce food. They don't produce machinery. They don't produce anything, right? There's no production for them. There's no existential value. But what they have is the thing that people have agreed upon that has value. Now with that, now you have dollars. And now what can you do with these dollars? So if I have nothing and I'm making nothing, so if I'm the dollar guy, if I'm essentially the banker, I'm not producing anything. So if I'm not producing anything, how am I making things if I'm just the middleman for things? Well, that's when you start adding things like interest, right? So now the goat farmer who wants to continue making goats, but he's like, oh, dude, I can make more of this dollar. If I can expedite my growth of my goats, what do? Well, I need machinery and I need these things, and I can't buy them outright. So maybe I can ask, hey, banker, hey, dude, can I get like two plows? Yeah, that would be $200. That would be $200. I don't have that right now. Do you want a goat instead? I can give you a goat, and then you can do 100. I can give you 10 goats for $100, and then I can get the plow for $100. Banker's like, nah, dude, we don't do that around here. Like, that's not. We don't need your items. We give out money. Well, then the situation becomes, well, how does this person get the goat? Oh, well, we develop a borrowing system. And then what do you do with that? Well, here's $200. Give me back a dollar every month over 200 months, right? Well, okay, that's fine, but the banker's still not making anything. He's still not making anything. He's just giving something out and not getting anything in return. Well, what do you have now? Well, now you have things like interest. Okay, you give me a goat, you give me a dollar, but there's going to be a 0.06% interest, or let's say 2% interest every month. So it's $1, $1.02. So now 2 cents over 200 months. What is that? 10, 200. I made $2 extra. So now you can extrapolate that. And now you have a whole world where now the banker's making money for actually producing nothing. But the people who are producing things are tied to the banker. They need the banker to get things so they can increase the production of their items, because their items are what makes them money. So, essentially what he was saying is that we've created this society where by default, the everyday person needs the banker. By default, the everyday person needs the dollar. And when someone needs something and they can't have it, they go to very extreme degrees to get them, whether that be through violence, whether that be through danger, and whether that be through illegal activity. And then you see illegal trade starting to happen, because I don't want to have to pay that interest. I don't want to have to pay that stupid banker. I'm going to do it illegally. And then what I'm going to do is actually, instead of that goat being $10, that goat being $10, I'm going to increase it to $15. And then, because I don't have to pay interest or anything, I'm making a $5 profit. And then when a government comes in and says, actually, no, marijuana is illegal, psilocybin is illegal, LSD is illegal, well, it's off the market now. So now, since it's off the market, there's no supply for it. So then what happens? Well, then you have a black market. In a black market, you have a limited supplier. So when you have two suppliers of cocaine, and let's say you had 1,000 suppliers of cocaine, well, you can charge an ounce of cocaine. I don't know, a gram of cocaine for $30. I think it's the street. I don't know. Maybe it's 30. I don't know. If there's 1,000 suppliers, well, the market decides it's $10. Well, if you legalize it and you make it look like the devil's work, well, you kick all the suppliers out. Now you have two suppliers. They're on the black market, so they can charge whatever they want as long as they agree that it's $30 per gram. It's $30 per gram. So then you have power, because the more of the value, the more of the item that you have, the more of the dollar you have, the power you have. You can control everything. You can control what people get from you. You can control what you get from people. You can control what people do. You can control everything. And then on top of that, you put in a structure where the more you have of that, the better you do in culture, because that's where we see ourselves now. Everything that we do is to increase our wealth. And I think knowing that is very important, but it's true. The reason why, you go to some communities and the moms and dads there are hyper fixated on their kids going to the best private school, for the kids to then go to the best colleges, and they're willing to do whatever. They're willing to put their kids on medication, whether put their kids on Adderall, to anything it takes for buy these kids tutors that cost thousands a month, whatever it takes. The reason why it happens is because they want their child to first off avoid the outcast, the people who are less than, the people who are not as high in the financial hierarchy as them. And with that comes a lot of other stereotypes and things that these rich people, these people with a lot of the bargaining chips, agree that these people are bad for my child, because they do things that my child, if they end up doing, won't be able to increase the wealth. So then you have these pools, these collections of a bunch of these parents who want their child to be the best. And the best is always because it can make the most, majority of the time, to make the most money. That's why jobs that are That's why jobs that are so worshipped in this country, they pay so much. They pay so much of the dollar, because the more the dollar you have, the more you can get away from the people who don't have. And this is, this is a big issue that people there's a lot of hypocrisy in the world. People say one thing, but they actually mean the other. I support these people. I don't like that, but I won't actually do anything because I don't want my wealth to be infringed on upon the people who have not what I have. And that's why you put your kids into private schools. That's why you put your kids into these amazing colleges, so they can go and make the most amount of the dollar. And it's like, it's if you critically think through that and you try to process it, it's a complicated matter, right? It's not a simple matter, because we've created a society where the more you have of that, the more you can do what you want to do, and the more power you have. You won't find a multi-billionaire in prison. You just won't. Even if they committed murder, they probably won't go to prison. They might go to prison. Like a few of them go to prison, but usually they can get the way out of it. I mean, Bill Cosby raped tens and tens of girls, and he got charged for one sexual misdemeanor or whatever it was. He spent no more than 2 years in prison. I mean, how long was Bill Cosby in jail? 10 years of total confinement. Sentenced to 3 years in state prison. He got out this year, right? This year. So, I mean, no more than 3 years just off of that number alone. So we've created a culture, and I'm not saying it's for the worst or for it's the best. Like, it has a lot of its benefits, and if you can figure out the culture and you can work your way around it, you can win. And there's a lot of hypocrisy, and I am a hypocrite, right? I want the dollar, right? Because I want to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and I don't want to have to listen to anybody tell me what to do and what I can and cannot have. I want what I want when I want it. That's not just an American thing. Like, I hate when people say it's an American. That's a modern human thing. But it's really impressive. Like, Terrence, I've been listening to a lot of him. He's unfortunately passed away. I think he died in 2000. Terrence McKenna. He passed away, 2000, April 3rd, 2000. He was 54 years old, way too young of a dude. I've read one of his books, Food of the Gods. That was his book in 1992. There's so many books by him I want to read. I guess he only has 4 books. No, he has more than that. Books. Oh, he has a lot of books. Holy shit. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7, 3, 6, 7 times 6 equals 42. 43 books. Yeah. He has 43 books. I've only read one of the 43. I definitely want to read all of them. I don't know when or how. God, reading is so hard because there's so many books out there. Jesus Christ. Like, I started Harry Potter, and I'm finished 1. I'm about to finish number 2, and I love it, dude. I'm probably going to get Taylor on here. We're just going to do a Harry Potter episode. It will be my most viewed episode because Harry Potter is such a cult following. It's so good. Like, I want to apologize for any time I ever made fun of anybody who was into Harry Potter, or any time I scoffed at somebody who was in Harry Potter. I'm a piece of garbage. I love Harry Potter. It's so good. And I'm a 24-year-old dude, and I'm reading Harry Potter, but it's such an escape. It's such an escape. It feels like a drug. Like, if I was a 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old boy, it would have been hard for me to read Harry Potter because you're so ego-driven and you want to fit in everywhere. And at the time, the people I hung out with weren't into Harry Potter. They would have called me names that are canceled now. I can't say them anymore. Names that everybody used to say, but now you can't say them anymore. And if you say them, you have a big, you're crossed out from society, even though I know a lot of people still say them. Um, which I think they shouldn't be said because they're bad words and they're mean and they're insulting. But we used to say them all the time. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but that was just that was the world I grew up in. But it's good, dude. I really like Harry Potter. It's an escapism. It's a drug, right? I'm escaping from reality. And it creates I could totally see how a 12-year-old kid in middle school can fall in love with that series. Because there's times when I'm reading it, like 9 3/4, the platform, 9 3/4 platform, where, there are Ron Weasley and, his brothers, George and Fred and, Ginny and the whole family, they're running through this door, this wall. There's just a solid wall and they're just disappearing in this other world. And then Harry goes, he ends up not being able to run through it. But then, he takes the flying car, the muggle car that his, Mr. Weasley transformed into, he gave it wizard powers. And it's so, and then like the scene, like it excites me right now. And it's so childish, but I think everybody has that. Everybody wants a form of escapism. To like, I want these, and I think that's why religion is such a gripping notion, because you want it to be true. But with Harry Potter, it is true, right? It is true. As I'm reading it, I've seen the movies, right? I've seen 6 movies. I've seen the first 6 movies, and the last movie is apparently a 2-parter. I completely forgot that. I had no idea it was a 2-parter. So I can already connect the words with the movies, which I almost wish I haven't seen the movies, because, and I faintly remember them, but I almost wish I haven't seen the movies, because have seen the movies, I'm kind of filling in. I'm attributing words with movie scenes. But not really. I mean, I am, but like, I almost wish I didn't see the movie so I can just kind of create my own imagination. So it's weird because the magic world isn't like real. Like, I can't just do that right now. But it is real in the sense that it's in my head. The same way a dream is real. But I could just totally see how this was a pandemic. It took over children's minds. And I can also see why a lot of parents didn't like it, because it is magic and it is, not real in the sense that it's not, like hard, but it is real in the sense that it's in your brain, and whatever's in your brain is real. I think that's how it works. Like if I was blind and I read that, well, I can't see anything. The world around me there's no visible light anywhere. So if I can create imagination in my brain, I guess they couldn't. Well, I guess you could. I don't know. Do they make Braille copies of Harry Potter? Are there Braille copies of Harry Potter? The Braille version will be 1,100 pages and 10 volumes, weigh 12 pounds, and stand a foot tall when stacked up. The National Braille Press usually does a press run on 200 to 300 copies of new books, and will produce 1,400 copies. Oh, that's cool. So they do have Braille versions of Harry Potter. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so they do have Braille versions of Harry Potter for the lack of seers, people who cannot read or cannot see things. Oh, that's so cool. Kristen Turgan reads the Braille version of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Aw, that's adorable. That makes me happy. But I could just totally see how this world has taken over a society, and that makes me happy. I like that. I like Harry Potter. It's fun. It takes you out of like this constant like rat race that we live in, and I've been enjoying it thoroughly. I don't want it to end, and I have, the first 2 books are like the shortest of the 7, and it's probably gonna take me. I probably finish around maybe Thanksgiving, maybe Halloween. I wanted to do 2 books before school started, which I wasn't able to do, which is fine. But I'm probably gonna finish around Halloween. And I don't know. I might stay in fiction for a little bit longer. There is like a creative thing, and I do feel happier, I think, reading Harry Potter. It's not that I didn't look forward to reading nonfiction books. I did look forward to them. I look forward to grasping more knowledge, and maybe reading it wasn't as it wasn't like when I pick up Harry Potter, I want to read the words because the words create an imagination. But with real estate investing for dummies, per se, I don't want to read the words, but I want the knowledge. But the way I get the knowledge, the bridge is through words. So I have to process the words, and I have to break them down, and I have to understand them. Same thing for like psychology of money and like Steven Pinker, how the mind works. I have to actually read the words, translate them, and then understand what I'm learning, and then process what I'm learning, and then hopefully keep some of what I'm learning. Whereas with Harry Potter, I don't want it to end. And what I want is to just constantly read the words. Like I could totally see how, like oh my God, I could, if it was in a different world and I was 12 years old again and I started reading Harry Potter, I would be the kid crying when it was over. I know 100% I would be that kid. I'd be the kid coming home after I finished Deathly Hallows, and I would be in tears. And I would stay home from school, and I would be sad. I would have been that kid if I, wasn't ego driven, or actually if people are ego driven, but if I had more control of my ego, I could totally see how I could get lost in that world, man. It's so fun, man. I don't want to curse, but I wish I started when I was younger. It might be one of my only regrets in life. If that's my only regret in life, that I wish I started Harry Potter younger, I'm winning, bro. But it's good. It's good. I'm almost done with the Sorcerer's Stone, about halfway through it. My first class today actually got canceled, so on Monday I started school, and I just got I got an email from not even my professor, but from my professor's, I guess, assistant, maybe. I don't know. It said I don't know if they want me to just read all this stuff. Advanced. I don't care. My permit purchase. You have begun parking with this permit on Monday 2nd, or date of purchase, whichever is later for annual or your tall permits. I don't know what that means. I guess just tell me I have a parking permit. Bitch, I know, I bought it. Dummy. It says, good morning, students of Entrepreneurship 305. Unfortunately, there has been an emergency for Professor Baum. BAUM cannot meet with your class today. Instead, this class will begin on Wednesday, 9/1. So, already a nice little hiccup in the road, but, that's fine. So I actually only have one class today, which is fine. It is what it is. I kind of wish there was two classes. Makes traveling that far easier, because it is a far drive, and it's not something that is it's much more worth it when you have two classes and then just one class. But that's fine. Whatever. So what else is going on? So I have one class today. Looking forward to that. Overall, it was just a good weekend. I spent a lot of time with family. It was, it was fine. It was okay. I spent time with both sides of the family. One of my cousins just became a PA, which is amazing. That's hard, dude. It's like I wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think I have I wouldn't say I don't have the intelligence, but I don't have the drive to spend that many extra years in college. I'm doing it. When I graduate, I essentially have spent enough years in college to have a PA, but I'm not that smart. That's not me. Congratulations. That's incredible. One of my other cousins is going away to Florida, which is awesome, which is always a place I've kind of seen him going there. And then one of my close relatives are moving, and that's awesome for her, and I'm happy for her, and she will spend more time with, family that's more immediate, and that's awesome. I think the older you get, the more you start, the older you get and people around you start passing away, I think the things that you really thought were important start to fade a little bit, and I think the things that you once thought were not that important start to fade in. I think the puzzle pieces start moving around a little bit. So, but that's amazing. Overall, it was a good weekend. I ate all the food. Definitely back to my weight that I was pre-flu, which is good. I feel sturdy. Like, I feel good. Like, I felt like a skeleton for a while, and it was like messing with me, like messing with like my psyche. But yeah, that's that. Starting school, so I'll be talking a lot about that. One of my professors is an expert in like 3D printing, which is really cool. I could talk to him about 3D printing because I think that once we do expand, and they're probably gonna look at me like I'm crazy, but once we do expand into multi-planetary species, which will be happening within 10 years, there will be people living on Mars, I think, in 15, 20 years. And I think there will be like tourist trips you can take to the moon if you want to. And people are like, well, why would you want to go to space? Well, people go to look at stupid cracks in the earth. Yeah, that's what the Grand Canyon is. It's just a huge fissure in the ground, and people go in there in awe. Imagine if you can go on the moon and like look around like that. I don't know. I think we underplay the fascination that humans have towards silly things. You know, people like to live on the ocean. What's up with that? You know, the ocean could kill your whole family. A hurricane come on, just like what's happening in Florida. That was slightly insensitive, but like what's happening down there, like you knew that could happen. Like, you know, a hurricane could take out your whole family, but it's the risk is you're willing to take that risk because why? Because I guess you can look at the water. I guess it's hot. Like, I don't know. I could totally see people just going to the moon for like a day for $1 million. If you're worth billions, yeah, I could totally see humans doing it. Also, a lot of people like to do things because no one else can. That's a ego-driven thing that people have. So, anyways, that's it, guys. I'll catch you guys on episode 223 of the Michael Lab Show. If you guys could please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically, like the podcast on YouTube, that would be great. And then if you guys can just, share this podcast with like 2 or 3 people that you might know and who might enjoy the podcast. So I'll catch you guys on episode 223 of the Michael Lab Show. Thank you.